and welcome back to Madness in the Method, the podcast where we talk about Nicolas Cage. Nothing but Nicolas Cage, and we only discuss Nicolas Cage. Today's a very special day because it's the final episode of the first season of the show. Because we're talking about his first and to date only Oscar win for the movie Leaving Las Vegas. But before we get into all that, my name is Tobias. With me, as always, is of course my friend and trusted co-host Christopher.
Hello, everyone.
And we also have a special guest today, Andrea.
Hello.
Hello. You are a friend of Christopher.
Yes.
Who I understand I heard you pretty early on said that, I want to be in on the Leaving Las Vegas discussion.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. So yeah, Tom, you had seen this before, right?
Oh, I'd seen it, yeah. Sure.
And Andrea, you also seen it before, I suspect, since you wanted to be in the
a
episode.
few times, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have never seen it before. I knew of it, obviously, but I never saw it till now. So
yeah. Well, let's start with your. First we should say what the movie is about. Sorry, I'm new to this. I usually don't have two people on. The movie is about Nicolas Cage, who plays, what's his name, Benjamin Sanderson, a failed screenwriter who decides to sell everything he owns and go to Las Vegas to drink himself to death, basically. In a nutshell, that's the movie.
Yeah, more or less. Except I think, well, I don't know, failed. He seems to be good. He was good at one point.
He might have been. I mean, we don't get a lot of backstory, but yeah, he seems to have done well for some time. But when the movie starts, he gets fired right at the beginning. So it's obviously not going well at the moment. His wife has left him. He seemed to have money problem. He's at a low point, so to speak. So he decides to end it all, and not down the barrel of a gun or with pills. Now he's going to slowly drink himself to death.
Yeah, it's not a one night drink to death. It's
It's like,
what does it say? 4 weeks.
Yeah, he has enough money for 4 weeks. I don't know how long it actually goes on for in the movie, but something like that.
Yeah. So again, I had never seen it before. This is the first time I saw it, and I think it's extremely emotionally draining, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very tough, and it sort of threads the line between a tragedy and a comedy, and at some points it even feels sort of like it goes in a feel-good movie sort of way, and then it says no, and then go way back to the tragedy again.
Sure, yeah, I agree.
So you really are emotionally on the edge all the time. You don't know if you should feel good or bad, and as soon as you start to feel good, it turns bad again.
Yeah, but what did you know of the movie before you saw it? Did you know anything about it?
Well, I knew that I thought that he had a diagnosis that he couldn't drink anymore. That the doctor tells him you can't drink anymore, and then he says, well, fuck it, I'm going to drink myself to death then, and goes to Las Vegas. That's what I thought the movie was about, and I knew he won an Oscar, obviously. But that's about it. So I was sort of wrong, because I didn't think he was... it was a choice in the way that the movie portrays.
Well, he had a condition. Life.
Well, yeah, I guess.
That was his condition.
So, Andrea, what's your opinion of this movie?
Yeah.
Before going into like scoring, just
I'm guessing you're a fan.
I am a fan. I think this is the first movie that I saw with Nicolas Cage where I kind of went, okay, he's not just insane. Because that's like most of his movies, he just plays insane characters. And he does play an insane character in this one, but it works. And it's I don't know. It's a really good movie, and I think it's one of those few movies that deals with alcoholism in a comedic way, but also in a very gritty way. Like, it's intense. It's not just, okay, the person goes to rehab and then is magically cured or something. Mm-hmm. It just shows what ultimately is the end of addiction if you don't recover. Is that?
Yeah, I read some quote somewhere that it was some critic who said that it was this. I think that was about the book though. So I don't remember the name, but it was someone who said that it was this story, Leaving Las Vegas, and like one other book that like accurately displays like the devastating nature of alcoholism.
Yeah.
And that most other depictions are they're little wishy-washy, little fantastical, but this is what it's actually like.
Yeah, I did read somewhere. I think it was a current review, so not from back in the day, where someone talks about that this movie apparently got a little flack when it came out for being such a downer and a tough movie.
Oh, okay.
And that, well, this person said that it's really weird because we have so many movies about how cool and fun alcoholism is. The Byronic Hero and all of that.
Sure.
But that this movie should get more cred because it is one of the few that actually depicts how horrible it could be. And it, as I said before, it pictures both the ups and the downs, but that there are more downs than ups.
Yeah.
Oh yes, there's not a lot of ups.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, before we started doing this podcast, this was just like Andrea said. This was probably that movie that made me think like, oh, he's actually a good actor, not just insane and funny. But that's kind of the thing with this podcast. We having done it now for a while, you realize that he's done similar stuff like this, but I don't think it's been on the level of this.
No, this is definitely at this point in his career. This is definitely the best. He really pulls out the best performance.
Yeah.
And he's, as you said, he's done similar things, and he does a lot of great performances before, but this sort of is a culmination of all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything he's learned and everything he's done before, this is the peak, sort of. At this point, at least.
Yeah. And it feels like... this movie obviously has gotten a lot of attention. We've talked about that, how his much of his early stuff is kind of forgotten, but at least this one I know people know of. I think mainly because he won an Oscar for it. But I don't know how many people have actually seen it, like people in our age or younger. But if you're gonna watch a Nicolas Cage movie, I guess most people would want to see the crazy stuff, the Rage Cage stuff. But I mean, this is. I would still recommend this one. Like before that, you get like a look beyond the Rage Cage before you start watching that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk with most at least my peers about Nicolas Cage, there is this thing that he won an Oscar, really, for what? Leaving Las Vegas, and everyone says, that movie. I've seen it. No. And that's sort of I think most people I met they know of the movie and haven't seen it, and they know of it because of he won an Oscar, or because it's one of, in quotation, the greats of Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's looking at his early career, this is probably one of the few that people actually remember, like this, and I don't know. Maybe Wild at Heart. I don't know.
And what is it called again?
Vampires.
Racing Arizona.
Yes. Racing Arizona. Yes. Well, yeah. Probably that, because when I first heard of this movie, I thought this was Racing Arizona, that he won an Oscar for Racing Arizona, but leaving Las Vegas. I don't know. Something like that. I mixed the two up.
But it's definitely a movie I'll put on my great movies that I probably won't watch again.
Yeah. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
It definitely works to rewatch, I think.
Yeah, it's not that. It's just that it's in the same vein as like Requiem for a Dream or Irreversible. It's just a hard movie that I don't think I want to put myself in that emotional headspace again, sort of, because it was so realistic and horrible for me, at least.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Maybe in a few years, maybe.
Yeah. Andrea,
apparently, you guys seen it so many times. So
yeah, I was gonna ask, how many times have you seen it, Andrea?
I think maybe 6 or 7.
Okay.
But it's one of those like movies where like I enjoy showing it to people, and they're like,
yeah.
You just watch them go, oh, Nicolas Cage can act, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you also had the same experience that people just haven't watched this movie.
No. I mean, you talk Nicolas Cage and everyone's like, oh yeah, The Wicker Man. Or, you know, National Treasure.
Oh yeah.
Or Face Off. Yeah. And, you know, that's what most people have seen.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we discussed when we started making this. Like, most people have seen his, like, late 90s, early 2000s stuff. Not a lot of people have seen his late 80s stuff or early 90s like this. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of why we decided to make this show, to kind of to show people that you know he's actually good.
I gotta say though, I think I think I need to think a little more about it, and just because I'm done with the movie like 30 minutes ago. So, but my first impression is that Elizabeth Shue she should have won the Oscar. I know it's not the same category, but
yeah,
I think she was a lot better than Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is amazing, but she was steps beyond, I'd say.
I think the performances are very different from each other.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
I don't know who they were up against, respectively.
No,
but I know she was nominated, and based on what she does in the movie, I think she should have won. Definitely.
Because again, this movie also, for people who haven't watched it, is sort of we didn't even discuss that. Elizabeth Shue's character.
Oh yeah.
So when what was her name again?
Sarah.
What did you say?
Sarah with an E.
Yeah. So when Ben goes to Vegas, he sort of immediately meets this Sarah, who's a prostitute.
Yeah, he almost runs her over.
Yeah, and she's also really down on her luck, and they both sort of have this "we are both rejected from society, and no one will forgive us for what we are" kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but they both accept each other and each other's flaws. And I think one of the first things Ben says to Sarah is, "Yeah, we can hang out, we can be friends, but you can never ask me to stop drinking."
Mm-hmm.
And she accepts that, and they sort of meet this. They have this emotional bond because, well, someone understands them and accepts them for who they are.
Yeah, she mentions at some point that, or maybe that was something I read as well, that the characters on the opposite ends of a spectrum. Like she has decided to finally choose life, basically, and he appears at the right time then to be like the one glimmer of hope in her life, while he has decided to choose death, and she is kind of the only one who gets him, because everyone else, yeah, like you said, kind of rejects him. All his friends rejects him. His boss rejects him by firing him. And she just understands him, and like you say, she doesn't try to stop him. She just lets him do what he, has to do.
Yeah, and they have this sort of frank honesty with each other that he and they both call him a drunk and alcoholic, and sort of and they call her like a hooker, or but they none of them do it with contempt for each other. It's more of a fact statement.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of times when he points it out, and she seems so hurt by it, and he's like, "Oh damn it, why did I say that?" Like when he gives her the earrings at the mall, and he whispers something about her feeling something when he puts the earring in, and she's like, obviously super distraught. He's like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have said that." Like his drunkenness took over for a second.
Yeah.
And I like that as well. Like it's not that it's even though they both like they're fine with each other and what's going on, but it's still kind of complicated. It's a very complex movie, even though it's a very straightforward premise.
Definitely.
Oh, by the way, Susan Sarandon won that year for Dead Man Walking. I haven't seen that, but I guess she's good too. I don't know.
I haven't seen that either. So.
Yeah. But Sharon Stone was nominated for Casino, and Elizabeth Shue definitely better than that. So I'll say that much. Anyway, what is there something about the movie that either you don't like? I mean, it's not a flawless movie, but there's something that like sticks out in particular.
I don't know. There was a few times where I was sort of not bored, but I was sort of, because the movie has a few of these sort of montages where they go out and do stuff, and it got sort of samey, but I also think that sort of was the point. And that's they go out, he drinks, and then he passes out or gets hurt or something happens, and yeah. So I sometimes got a little I got this. Just move along. Let's go to the next part of the story. But again, I think that's sort of the point. So I don't know if that's a negative.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that.
Andrea,
yeah.
No, I think the music is what bothers me the most.
Yeah, the music is special.
Yeah, it is very. It's good, but it's sort of mismatched at a lot of points throughout the movie.
Yeah, and I think it's like just so blaringly too much sometimes. Like I can't focus on what's going on in the scene because the music is just and it's, I don't know, jazzy and trumpets and horns and shit.
I'm conflicted about the movie, about the music. I like it, but yeah, sometimes it's weird, especially when it comes to a movie score like this. It's weird to have lyrics over a lot of the music, which you have in this. It's like they're playing songs, but the songs are specifically written for the scenes or for the movie. By the way, it is Mike Figgis, the writer and director, who actually plays the music as well, which I think is very interesting. He's somewhat of an, I don't know, he's an artist. He does everything.
Yeah, I read somewhere he's in the movie. It's like some gangster or something. Yeah,
he's one of the Russians at the gas station in the beginning, or Russians or whatever. Eastern Europeans who are just staring at him. The one with the curly hair, who then show up to kill Julian Sands at the hotel. Elizabeth Shue's like pimp or whatever he is.
Yeah, that's true. I was not fond of that plot point because it was sort of not in the movie. The pimp plot point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's to kind of give her a more clear sense of emancipation. Like, she is literally free because we're killing her pimp now, as she like chooses to be free. I don't know. I guess I haven't. Have any of you read the book?
I have.
No.
Is that in the book? I guess it is.
It's in the book, but it happens before they meet.
Oh, okay.
It's in the book. That was the thing I think. Throughout the movie, we have this sort of internal monologue from Elizabeth Shue's character, Sarah, where it's sort of framed like an interview, but not.
Those parts are in the book, but they're like, I think in the movie it's sort of like she's talking to someone that's off camera.
Yeah, it's supposed to be you're not really supposed to know who it is. It's just someone she's talking to.
Yeah, and in the book
like
it's more like just fleeting thoughts she's having while she's doing other things. So it's there, but it's of course like you can't, unless you're doing a voiceover, which you shouldn't do.
No, I mean,
it's hard to get that enough in a movie in another way. So I think they do it okay, but I also think that those scenes kind of feels a little misplaced sometimes.
Yeah, they are a little detached, but that's so I don't know how to say it. It's by design because they're not actually supposed to be in the movie. That's all the footage of her just talking to the camera is actually like makeup and hair tests that they just filmed. So the person she's talking to is Mike Figgis, the director. And they just had they took those like voiceover parts, so to speak, from the book and recorded them just to see, how it looked with hair and makeup, and it was good enough that he decided to keep it in the movie. So it's not actually supposed to be in the movie. That's why it sometimes feels a little like it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because that was the thing that I was. Because I was thinking this has to be from the book. That's the only reason I could think of this is in here. That we need to tell her perspective, but we can't get it in any other way because she is supposed to be alone in the world, except for Ben. Yeah. But I gotta say, I liked it. I liked the way it was made. I didn't think it was forced or weird because, first of all, it's filmed in this very jarring sort of. Most of the time very close up and weird angles, and they also put these weird cuts in it, which I think personally it worked really good as a inner monologue that it isn't a conversation she actually has with a real person. It's more of a something when she's thinking, and I think again it's something that's sort of needed in the movie, but it's a lot better. It's the best solution that they could do to get it in the movie. So I didn't mind it at all.
Because, imagine if it was just like a detached voiceover from her. That would be so cheesy.
No, that wouldn't work.
This is the best solution. And I don't dislike the scene, those scenes. It's just when they first start like appearing, it's a little like, well, who is she talking to? What's going on? But then you accept them, and then they become an integral part of the movie. Definitely.
Yeah, but again, back to the pimp storyline, which I didn't like. Because I think so. There is this small storyline of which we are told in sort of weird exposition flashbacks that she had a pimp in LA and then she fled from him to Las Vegas, and now he's hunted by some random mob guys and goes to Las Vegas and finds her and sort of starts up their relationship, sort of.
Yeah, he owes them money. You find out if you have subtitles on when they talk. I don't know if you watch it with subtitles, but then at the gas station you actually get to hear their conversation, and they're talking about finding Yuri and getting the money. So,
because I think. That because then he just disappears sort of off screen and it doesn't come up again. So I think I don't know. It's this. It felt forced to get in her backstory in a weird way when I don't really think we needed it. So that's one thing that I'm not gonna say I would remove it from the movie, but I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, because it feels like, I think it's because we're used to that, like breaking free from the shackles of your past is supposed to be like the resolution of a movie like this, or a movie about a prostitute like this. But here it happens in the first half hour. So it feels a little jarring that okay, her pimp is gone. I thought Nicolas Cage was gonna like save her or something. But no, he's just dead and now she's free. Okay, it kind of breaks the formula, which is good. I think it's good, but it can feel a little jarring.
Yeah, I just think that maybe I'm just not overthinking it as much as it should. But I
You're
just
not
think,
overthinking it.
Yeah, no, because I think it could have worked well if she was just alone in the world. I don't think the abuse was needed for her motivation for the movie. Sort of. That's what I felt, at least.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I think it shows like it's a clear cut way to show her like deciding to be free, basically. Not stop being a prostitute, because she doesn't stop, but like being her own. Yeah, being emancipated, basically, being her own person again. And choosing to be with Ben, instead of being in this forced. I mean, not even relationship. I don't know what it is with a pimp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the pimp story is more there to kind of make us understand what she sees in Ben, which is someone who doesn't ask her for anything. Like the pimp wants her to work for him. All the Johns want their sex, and like he doesn't even want to sleep with her. He just wants to exist in the same room, and for her that's like something fresh. So I think the pimp story kind of waves into that understanding of that part of her character, because why would anyone want to spend time with Ben? I mean, other than he's really funny when he's drunk, but
yeah.
But only sometimes.
Only
sometimes.
Yeah, but that's also true. Like you said, Andrea, that if she wasn't in this abusive relationship, whatever, with the pimp, maybe she would have just like, this guy's a fucking drunk. I'll go find someone else. But now he's that little bit of brightness in her darkness, you know.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have had that if she was already, you know, kind of okay with her situation.
Yeah, I guess it. Yeah, maybe it would have been just too much of the hooker with the heart of gold trope. If she wasn't, if we didn't see her being sort of broken in a real way.
Yeah, because like if she didn't need something from Ben, then why would she be with Ben? Like
exactly.
Yeah,
that's also nice.
Fine.
All right, I guess the movie is better than I thought. Whatever. No, but yeah, that is also something that I really appreciate with the movie. That it isn't the typical whore with the heart of gold. It's actually like a professional relationship at first that kind of grows into something else because the situation they're both in. I really like that part. I mean, and that she it's not like his accidental kindness turns her away from this world of prostitution. No, she keeps hooking throughout the movie because she chooses to.
Yeah.
But you know, she does it, you know, less because she has to, I suppose. I don't know. It feels more realistic than it does in many other movies like this.
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking of, I don't know if there's, I don't know how to. There seems that there's something there, but I can't really figure it out. The thing that as soon as he sort of leaves or kicked out, because she kicks her out throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Then everything just turns to worse from there.
Well, yeah.
And I wonder if that's supposed to be a correlation or not.
I think it is. That might be like a flaw, because that's when you kind of see that this is a movie, because it's the end of the second act. They hit their lowest point. They break up the team, and then you know they find each other again in the middle of the third act, you know, for the finale. So I guess there it kind of it feels a little too much like a movie, maybe, that they had to break up at that point.
Yeah, because it is this that. Because she talks in their monologues, we get this that she has problem with the pimp, and she gets she has a lot of she talks about this hairy guy who's sort of a John who's sort of abusive thing, but we don't really see those things, and it doesn't look like it affects her in a it's not, she's not ruined forever, so to speak, mentally. But at the end of the movie, it sort of feels like, yeah, she's destroyed, sort of, because there's so many. She gets kicks out from her house, or she gets, what's it called? Kicked out. And the scene with the frat boys and all of these things just compounding in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
But I think like the difference there is that with the abusive Johns before, she's kind of chosen to stay and endure it, and that's her choice. But the frat boys, for instance, like, she doesn't choose to stay, she wants to leave. So I think that's like the difference between those. Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah.
But just that it's sort of that it comes directly after Ben leaves. That if they try to say something, that she was better with him, or that everything turns bad because he has left. If that's something that they try to say, I don't. There's something there, but I can't really grasp what.
Well, we don't really know how long they're apart, right?
No. Yeah, it's like a montage.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a few days, maybe. I don't know.
Because they say he only has money for 4 weeks, so it's probably within that span. So it's not like years.
No.
Or months even.
No, it's probably just a few days. Yeah, I think it's that is a tough one. Like I said, I think it's mostly just a convenience for the screenplay to like have them like, well, there need to be reason for them to get back together. So we'll just write in some hardships, mostly for her, because he just keeps drinking. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be any more worse off without her, really. I mean, other than I guess he sleeps in the street instead of he doesn't. No, he gets a motel. So
yeah.
No. I don't know. I think it's maybe like he the same thing like the pimp being murdered is sort of like a sign of her becoming free. Ben is sort of he is sort of a symbol for freedom and personal individuality, like he says in Wild at Heart, or personal freedom. And when she's not with him, she feels less free. I don't know if there's trying to say something like that. Like, even though his behavior is very, very destructive, he has chosen this path. So he is, even though it's a bad thing, he is totally free. And when she rejects that, she goes back into the bad habits of her former life, something like that. I haven't really thought about that. It's just off the top of my head.
Well, I'm thinking maybe it's like it's showing her being, or realizing maybe that she doesn't want to be lonely, because she says that throughout the movie, like, and that's, I guess, what she gets from Ben. So when her life just keeps getting worse and worse, like before she could deal with it, but then she kind of had this accepting love from someone who didn't want anything from her. So when shit goes even worse, that kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, she's nothing to fall back on because he's gone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the reasoning behind she going to look for him. I don't know.
Yeah. Like that was her. As sad as that sound, that man who's drinking himself to death was her one like stable thing in her life.
Yeah.
No. Something like that. Which is nice, but horrible also.
Well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's the whole movie, really. Like it's nice, but really horrible.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, is this. You sort of at moments forget how horrible the movie is, and I think that's one of the strengths of the movie. That, but just as in alcoholism and I guess prostitution, that you have these high moments when you go out and you have fun and you forget for a while just how bad it's going. It is actually.
Yeah.
And then it just goes worse. And I think that's, again, the movie goes forward back and forth.
Yeah.
And as soon as you think, oh, maybe it'll work out, oh no, fuck, no. No.
Yeah, and that's also very obvious, that because when he says you can never ever ask me not to stop drinking, she's like, oh, absolutely, and she goes along with it. I mean, almost up until the end, but then when they're eating, or she cooks him rice, like you should eat some rice at least. That's when she. That's like the start of them breaking apart, really. That's when she tries to like, she realizes that this is going to end because he's going to die eventually, and then I'll be alone again. I don't know where I was going with that, but
yeah, it is a big thing with this, that you can see it, and I think that's one of the strengths in her acting, because they never say it out loud in any capacity. I don't even think they said it in the internal monologues, but you can see it in her acting when sort of she switches to, I hope he'll change.
When you can see the concern in her eyes.
Yeah, and if I can just make him have a really good time and understand how fun life could be, he can change his mind. I can fix him, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But she never outwardly or overtly says anything or does anything specifically for that. I think the most is the rice line. That's the most she ever tries.
When they're in the rice and she says, I think you should see a doctor, and he's like, but wait, you said you wouldn't. He's like, he doesn't understand, like, why are you asking me to stop?
Yeah. And that's a very interesting thing with just Ben's character and Nicolas Cage's acting. That he not for 1 second waver, or he just sways from his intent.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
and you can see it in him that just there is no other option.
Yeah, he's very driven.
Yeah, I have burned everything I have. I have severed every contact that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have sold everything of worth. There is nothing for me to go back to, and this is it. And that's very interesting, again, because you never see that.
No, that is rare in movies or in stories.
Oh.
And to have that be, for me, it's sort of like a positive thing, because the life he leaves behind is not a life, in his opinion, worth living. So these few weeks when he's in Las Vegas, he in a weird way takes control back over his life, even if it's in a very dangerous and destructive way.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting, and I like that the movie, the script and the director never tries to like, sort of with the music, and I guess sort of with some of the scenes, makes it look like it's a bad choice. Instead, it accepts, just like she does, accepts him for who he is, and accepts his decisions in life. And I really like that as well.
Yeah, the movie is sort of...
It's not finger wagging like, oh, this is why it's so dangerous to drink.
Yeah,
you kind of get that, but as a side effect. But it's not trying to like. There's no like morality thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the movie is it's framed as this is a fact that is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Not in any message at any way, and I think that makes it such a strong message.
Yeah, exactly. So let's it's hard in this performance, but and we already discussed that we think he did a very good job, but was there any rage caging in this movie? It's a tough one because he definitely acts out from time to time, but it's different.
I think the only real rage cage we have in this, it's when he plays blackjack.
Oh yeah,
and just fucking goes
flips
ballistic. And I don't really understand what happened in that scene, because I didn't really hear what they said to each other.
No, he spaces out and starts having a dialogue with his ex-wife, Because he starts screaming about it's my son, you can't take him away from me. He's obviously like having some sort of like an acid flashback, but I guess an alcohol flashback. That's why he's just freaking out, because he's not mentally in that casino at that point.
All right. Because I didn't really understand what was happening. He was playing and laughing, then he exploded, and I was thinking, was there something that happened here, or is just this is how it sometimes is?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, his brain was breaking at that point. So, and that's also like because we don't get a lot of backstory. We do get some small snippets of dialogue. Like, I don't know if my wife left me because of my drinking, or I started drinking because of my wife leaving me. We have that. We have the picture of him and his family, and we have we see the bike.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing. I guess he doesn't burn. It seems like he's leaving that behind, and then. Saying it's my son. That's about it for a backstory, which I like as well. That we don't get any like heavy exposition dump about why he is so sad.
Yeah, we have like this sort of 15 minutes introduction to the character before even the title card, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird, really cool, because the movie's already started and it's like, oh, that's the title. Okay.
But we have everything that achieves in that is there's like no exposition of backstory. Well, no, they mention he's a writer. That's about it.
It's about it, yeah.
And other than that, we only see just, which is a very good introduction to the character, just how he is as drunk and as hungover and when starting drinking. We see the whole spectrum, sort of.
Yeah. And those all the scenes before the title sequence is also they're not shown in a linear fashion. Like they keep jumping back and forth. Like the first scene where he just buys all the booze, actually happens, as he's leaving for Las Vegas. So I'm guessing it's. I mean, I know it's partly because the director just thought it flowed better to show them in that sequence, but I also think that it adds this, like, this is how he perceives the world when he's that drunk. Like, he's just snippets. Like blacking out. He's blacking out and just remembers parts of it. Yeah. So I think it has both a technical point and an emotional point to make with those scenes, and I like that.
Yeah, it's a great introduction to the character.
Yeah,
you feel like you
it
don't
reveals
know
his psyche.
You have no backstory, but you know exactly who this character is.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, one thing that was I don't know. I was looking at trivia, but I can't see why. Why Richard Lewis and Steven Weber is in the beginning of the movie?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, good, because I forgot about that. There is a lot of like cameos, if you will, in the movie.
Yeah,
a bunch of them in the beginning. A bunch of the bartenders are like famous actors or directors. You see, Danny Houston at one point.
Yeah, and like French Stewart is in the one shot.
Yeah, the first scene where they introduce Elizabeth Shue's character. Yeah. Super weird to see him there, and just he's not even talking. He's just sneering at everybody. You have rlje, who she tries to solicit. Mike. Well, yeah, we mentioned Mike Figgis, but he also has a second cameo. The director. He is on the billboards on some of the billboards, whatever you call it, on the taxis. It's some sort of like ad for a show or something. And there's a guy with curly hair. That's the director as well. And then
always the director.
Yeah, for some reason that's in the movie. It's the name of his production company, because he has like a theater company, because he does theater as well. So there's and a bunch of the taxi drivers. I didn't recognize all of them, but I recognize some of them are like actors or directors, and I'm not sure why or how, really. Maybe they were fans of the book, because this is not like a super big production. Like, let's get all the stars in the movie.
Yeah, and Mike Figgis isn't like this. Well, at that point, he wasn't like this big director, right? No, when it comes to movies, he didn't do a lot before this, and hasn't done a lot of
big stuff after it. Yeah. Maybe it's from his theater stuff, and they know him through there. Maybe he's more famous for that. I don't know, actually.
But there's we have talked about in the previous episodes that there most of these forgotten Nicolas Cage movies have a not that much trivia or facts at all about the movie.
Yeah, sometimes the trivia section is blank almost.
Yeah. But this one has a lot of, I'd say, interesting trivia.
Yeah, there is a lot because of how the movie came to be and what happened to the author after, during the movie, I suppose.
Yeah. So the author of the book and the screenplay, right?
No. Mike Figgis wrote the screenplay by himself.
Okay.
What is his name? It's Mike O'Brien? No, what's his name?
John O'Brien.
John O'Brien, right.
He committed suicide 2 weeks after the movie went into production.
Yeah. Which is, and I don't know if this is like hindsight from people, but some people have mentioned that the book was basically his suicide note. Because it's partly autobiographical, because he was also like a severe alcoholic. But like he was on and off the wagon from like his teens up until he died or committed suicide. And that's why the movie is so like, it's not trying to, and it's not trying to be like a morality tale or anything, because he's just saying why he did the things he did, and then I don't know why, because the book came out in 1990, and then 1992 or something like that, and he waited until the they were making the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did it then. We can't ask him. So
no, but I mean, alcoholism is a progressive disease, so I guess,
that might be it.
I mean, just give him if you're not getting better, you're gonna get worse. So I suppose he just was worse at that point, or worse enough to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a weird trivia that the only thing he has in TV that he's made is this and 37 episodes of Rugrats.
Yeah, he wrote one Rugrats episode.
Episode 37. Yeah, it's
Well, that was because if you look there's not a lot of information about him, but I found some. I found a blog post from one of the people who what's it called? Who ran the what's it called? Verlag, who printed his book.
The publisher.
It's called the publisher. Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the people who ran the publishing agency that published the book, and what their relationship was to him, and because when he was in his late 20s when he wrote the book and when it was released, because he was like 33 when he killed himself, right? Something like that. And he had come to Los Angeles a few years before that to try and make it as a writer, him and his wife. But he had mostly worked shifts at restaurants and diners and stuff, and while he was writing this book, and then when he managed to get it published, it was it got a lot of good reviews, but it didn't sell very well. And I mean, the producer who found the book found it in a bargain bin for books that were out of print. So it's just a random chance that it was actually made into a movie, because he just happened to find it. It's almost like a movie plot in and of itself.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was after that, because he was, like I said, on and off the wagon, and during those years before the movie, he was kind of trying to I did my writing dream, I got my book published, now I'm gonna try to be a better person. And then when he got some money, because the movie was, or the book was optioned for a screenplay, he thought maybe I got a second chance at stardom here, and he started hanging out with rock stars and drinking more, and then I guess he spiraled basically and thought, nope, this is it.
Yeah.
And then, well, at least I know it's going to be a movie. Bye bye. Which is kind of terrible.
The movie did pretty good in the box office.
I actually haven't looked at the box office.
So the budget estimated is 3.6 million.
Yeah.
And worldwide it made 32 million. So
yeah, for a movie like this, that's good.
Yeah.
10 times its budget back. So,
Yeah.
And it got a lot of good reviews, and I mean, it was nominated for 2 Oscars. So,
Yeah. I don't know if you know that, but what did people think about Nicolas Cage at the time? Because I read somewhere that when this movie got when he was cast in this movie, but people were excited because people said he was one of the best in his generation at that point. Before the movie, this is just some random guy on the internet says this. So
okay.
I'm asking you if you know what people thought about him at this point before the movie.
I haven't read anything about what people thought of him at this time in his career, but just judging by how my perception of him as an actor has changed based on the movies we've seen, and we talked a little about how we think his career was going at the time. I think because we talked about specifically in the last couple of movies, like It Could Happen to You and Trapped in Paradise, that he was trying to become more of like a household name, right?
Yeah. I didn't get that was a question.
No,
we talked about that because from what I guess, this is just a guess, but by the movie we've seen, we talked about it before, that I had the feeling that at this point in his career, before leaving Las Vegas, he was that guy which his face but probably not his name. That guy who was in that movie. Oh, it's this guy. He's pretty good. I saw him in that movie.
He wasn't a household name yet.
Yeah, because after this movie, he exploded and became one of the biggest stars, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
After this movie. Just look at after this, it's just, weirdly enough, action movies, but still, very high-grossing and huge movies.
Much bigger profiled movies, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what people what their opinion was of him at that point. I mean, judging from his movies, I would have if I was like 30 back then. I was like, oh, this is a really interesting take. Like that he's going to make this movie. I'll watch that because he's done a lot of good before. I mean, I've seen Red Rock West and I don't know, Wild at Heart. But I have no idea what people thought at the time.
Yeah, and it's pretty hard to just Google or figure out what the consensus was at a specific time.
Yeah, that's very hard. Before social media, you don't know what people thought of things.
Yeah.
Unless you actually ask them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, even now, if I wanted to look up the consensus of John Cusack 5 years ago, I have no idea how to find that.
No, sure, yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'm just wondering if people went to see this movie because of Nicolas Cage, or if this was just
I don't know.
A movie that was good and people talked about it.
I'm thinking it got because obviously since it was nominated for Oscars, it got that Oscar push definitely. Because you don't just get nominated for Oscars because your movie is good. It's because you're marketing it the right way. That's definitely part of it. So that's probably some of it. Like there was probably good ad campaigns for this because they really wanted to push specifically the actors because it is a very actor-driven movie. So
have any of you guys seen a trailer for this movie?
No, I haven't actually. Even though
Andre, have you seen a trailer for this movie?
No.
I wonder how they sell this. I haven't seen it either. I just wonder how do they sell this movie?
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's I'm just guessing that it's really mismarketed as sort of this like cool hot movie when it's really not.
Yeah, or this sort
I'm getting that feeling.
Or maybe a romantic drama, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They met each other on the bottom. It's just I don't know. But one interesting thing again, Nicolas Cage stepping up to the plate for a role. His preparation for this role.
Oh yeah.
Was he was binge drinking and visiting hospitalized career alcoholics while recording himself drunk so he could mimic his own drunk speech pattern.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's classic Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And then hey, it worked, so kudos, I suppose. Yeah, well, yeah. Talking quickly about that, because we kind of mentioned it, like there isn't really a rage cage moment in this. I think all the movies, not all movies, but like the movies he's made before, the choices he's made as an actor before this, I think they all kind of perfectly culminates in this. He has found like the balance between good acting and Nicolas Cage acting, so to speak.
Yeah. Because
there's never a moment in this where he flips out and starts screaming that you're like, oh look, it's the rage cage. It's just it's instead it's just kind of sad. So he's channeling the rage cage in the right direction. And I think that's why this is the role he won an Oscar for.
Huh? Have you read any reviews from the time?
I have them up here.
Oh.
I got before that though. I got asked. Speaking of performances, because we've talked about that a little bit before. Would you say this is his best performance so far, based on the movies we've seen? Is this the one he should have won for?
Yeah, I think so. Again, you feel like he's taking the best parts of all his good parts before this and just putting it into one. In a way, he channels the rage cage in a perfect way. He also shows his the emotional range and the sober, the sober is a strong word. The somber. Somber feelings that he had.
He's never sober in this movie.
No, he did not channel the sober feelings.
No.
And yeah, I think and also he does, which he hasn't done really before, a lot of good physical acting.
Oh yeah, all the like spasms when he's jonesing.
Yeah, and
it's really creepy.
Yeah, and he has done. I don't think he has done any like that. The closest is the Italian movie, but that's not whatever that was called in English. Do you remember?
Time to Kill.
Time to Kill, yeah. Because in that one he does some physical acting, but not in the way like here.
Well, I would argue that he does a lot of physical acting in Vampire's Kiss. Where he embodies the vampire in that movie.
Well,
more for comedic effect, yes, but I mean, there's still a lot of great physical acting in that movie.
Fine, I guess. Involuntary physical action, if you put it like that.
Sure. No, yeah. I know what you mean.
So, Andrea, I don't know how many of the movies you've seen of the ones we've been through.
I think like none actually.
Oh, okay. Well, you've seen Vampire's Kiss.
No.
Right? You haven't? Oh, okay.
My God. We need to make a special episode where we rewatch that movie then.
You always want to rewatch that movie.
Oh yes.
Is it because it's good or because it's good bad or bad good?
Yes, on both accounts.
Exactly. It's beyond good and bad. It's something else.
It's an experience.
It's an experience, yeah.
Oh yeah, I have to watch it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hype it too much, like I told Christopher, but oh my God.
And then Tommy, you better a video analyzing it and the deeper meanings of the movie.
Oh yes, so. I overanalyzed it a lot a while back. You can watch that video if you want to. No, but that's actually kind of interesting because you basically seen none of the movies that he made before this, and then it's kind of like we suspected, Christopher, that people really didn't see his early movies and still don't watch his early movies.
Yeah.
Everyone has seen, The Rock and Snake Eyes and Gone in 60 Seconds, and a lot of people watch, his current movies because it's fun to watch the Rage Cage, and then you kind of miss the early stuff where he really gets to flex his acting muscles the way he kind of does nowadays with movies like Pig or Mandy. He's kind of having a renaissance. It looks like. I haven't seen Pig. I shouldn't say that, but it feels like that's one of those movies from what I've heard people talking.
It's the best movie I've seen this year.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll watch it in like 2 years. So
yeah, about 2 years.
we'll catch you up.
But take it with a grain of salt because I love pigs for some reason. So I really connected with that character. So
sure.
So I was thinking of that. I was gonna do this at the end, but maybe we should do it now. I don't know, because we're sort of on topic. Since this is the last episode of the season, I was thinking we should sort of go back and see what movies would we recommend of the ones we watch. What movies should be a must-watch on a if you want to get into Nicolas Cage. But I don't know if we're going to do this now or at the end of the episode.
Well,
maybe we should be done with Leaving Las Vegas first.
Yeah. Well, I asked you about 40 minutes ago, or 20 minutes ago, like, we're kind of out of stuff to say, right? But obviously we had stuff to say, so. But I'm thinking now, it's been an hour. I think we're sort of wrapping it up, so. Unless anyone has any closing marks on Leaving Las Vegas.
Well, we gotta give it a score, but I have no more closing remarks from my side.
Andrea?
No, I think if you haven't watched it, watch it, because it's great.
Well, this is definitely a must-watch.
I'm saying great, but it's not like it's great, but it's draining and it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's not a movie you just sit down and watch for fun.
Yeah, maybe like not a date movie,
No.
But yeah, you definitely.
This is more like a fifth date movie.
Yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, out of the movies that we've watched
first
23 so far. Should we score it first? Yeah.
First score.
Okay. Well, let's start with Andrea. What would you score this from 0 to 10?
I think that if I'm scoring the movie, it's like an 8.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm scoring the Cage, it's a 9. So I guess an 8.5 if I can give half points.
Sure.
Yeah. 8.5.
Christopher?
I'm actually gonna give it a 9. It's a weak 9, but it's a 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say. So.
Yeah. I'll agree. It's a very, very good movie. Very few flaws. So a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It's damn good.
It's just above the line to go from an 8 to 9. So, but it is definitely 9. So again, we watched 22 movies at this point. 23. No, because the first line does not count.
What? Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, 22. Sorry.
So, looking at the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So 22 movies, and from these movies, what movies should be like on like not a Nick Cage fan, but just a regular person? What movies should they watch? What should
a regular person? Well, then it's a very different list.
I'm not going like a critic or you want to know Nicolas Cage. Just this is movies that everyone should watch at least.
Yeah, you want to show your friends, your non-movie watching friends, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
I would pick. Probably actually start with Raising Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy enough, even though it's kind of strange sometimes, but it's digestible enough, and it's funny. That always helps.
Yeah.
After that, I would have to go Vampire's Kiss. I have to. Then Honeymoon in Vegas, I suppose, because it's
really. You think it's that good that people should watch it?
No, but I mean, it's digestible enough. I can't say Wild at Heart. People would like zone out because it's too weird and too violent. So I would have to pick that. After that, of course, Red Rock West.
Definitely Red Rock West.
And then I would pick both It Could Happen to You and Trapped in Paradise. And then Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
That's for my for the normie audience, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't have given that many movies.
Okay. I was holding back.
Because I would say Vampire's Kiss.
Oh shit, Valley Girl. Sorry, yeah.
So Vampire's Kiss, but Vampire's Kiss only in the setting of you're like hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, it's like, have you seen The Room? Well, you need to watch this.
Yeah, sort of in that way. Just sit, talk, have fun. That's Vampire's Kiss, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And then Red Rock West, because it is, I'd say that's the best movie of all the ones we've seen.
Even Leaving Las Vegas?
Yes, because Red Rock West is also fun.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I would say it's as good as Leaving Las Vegas, but it is fun also.
Yeah, it's not as heavy.
Yeah, so I would say Red Rock West, and I also would say Leaving Las Vegas. I think people would enjoy it, and I think it's a movie that people should see.
Yeah,
even if you don't enjoy movies.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
I think that's the ones I'd pick. Yeah. If you're gonna pick one movie to recommend to people that is not Vampire's Kiss, which one would it be?
Okay, one movie. I'd probably have to be Red Rock West.
No,
that movie was damn good.
It's very good.
It was like when we did the same thing with Adam Sandler movies. This is like Red Rock West is Nicolas Cage's Spanglish. Like just such a discovery. Like,
yeah,
I was bewildered by that movie. Oh. Maybe mostly because we'd watched so much shit up until then, but
yeah. So just quick check the most we ever gave a movie was you gave Vampire's Kiss a 10 out of 10.
Yes,
obviously.
And
mine was Rumblefish was a 9, and
Red Rock West, right?
Red Rock West and Leaving Las Vegas, they're all 9. So 3 9s. The lowest score was definitely Firebirds.
Yeah, I think
which you gave a 2 and I gave a 3.
Yeah. That is, that really stakes out. We keep coming back.
Also Deadfall, which you gave a 3 and I gave a 2.
Yeah, because, we talked about that. His performance, I liked it more than you did, but I think we both agree that his performance is the best part of the movie. But it does not, it can't hold up the movie. It's boring.
Yeah. But so that was Leaving Las Vegas, and that was the end of the first season of Nicolas Cage podcast, which we called The Road to the Oscar, and now we're here.
Yeah. It's a nice, it's a good, not bookend, but chapter end to his career.
Yeah.
And because it's a very his movie choices are all over the place. Like we talked about, he's done artsy movies, he's done romantic comedies, he did David Lynch movies. That's a whole genre of itself. Action movies like Firebirds, and trying to
Sandali, whatever that is.
Yeah, Sandali, whatever that is. He's trying to get his sea legs, so to speak, or acting legs, I suppose. But then after this, he gets the big big opportunities. He gets to do movies with Michael Bay.
That's the peak of success. So we're going to be off for a while, right?
Yeah. We're recording this in the 23rd of November, but you're probably listening to this in early January, I think. If we... the 11th of January, this should be out when you're listening to it. So we'll be back. We're going to take a break now for like a few weeks over Christmas and New Year's and everything. But we'll be back in mid to late January to start up season 2
Yeah, which we have called Mr. Superstar.
Yes,
which we're going to start strong with The Rock.
Oh yeah.
So, so next season is the movies that everyone's seen.
Yes, these are his big movies, the blockbusters.
We have The Rock, Con Air, Face Off.
Like I said, Gone in 60 seconds. Yeah.
And as Andrea said, Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wicker Man is there. Right at the end there.
Sort of when he's on his way out.
He's on his way down again. But yeah, and we have some admittedly great movies there as well. I mean, we have Matchstick Men. I like Weatherman. I know a lot of people.
I think Adaptation is a good movie.
I haven't seen Adaptation, but I heard a lot of good about it. Yeah. And I like Gone in 60 Seconds. That's because I like car movies. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be kind of different because the movies are a lot more streamlined, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of strange choices being made here in the second season. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Wait and see, so to say. But that's it, I think. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for going on this trip with me, Christopher, and thank you, Andrea, for joining us here at the end. Absolutely. And like I said, thank you to everyone who's listening. And I forgot to plug that in the beginning, but we do have a Patreon. If you want to listen to all these episodes in advance, especially now that we're breaking for doing a season break, for just $3 a month, you can go to patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, and you can get all these episodes in advance, plus exclusive episodes to my other podcast, commentary tracks. We made a commentary track for Vampire's Kiss, if you want to listen to that. Bunch of stuff for just $3 a month, so please check that out. But other than that, check us out. We're on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, YouTube. And tell your friends. And we'll see you in January for The Rock. But until then, have a good one.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Madness in the Method is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén. Editing and directing by Tobias Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. A huge thank you to all our Patreons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Rasmus Jonsson, Lara Kinney, Mom and Dad.